And taking a look at the heat index, well into the triple digits now. I'll show you how much hotter it will get today and when we could see some thunderstorms.
Plus, trash trouble. Your garbage collection could be delayed. Why the heat is to blame.
And budget battle. Overall budget talks remain stalled. We'll have a look at the final negotiation efforts.
Another day of extreme heat. Today we could reach the triple digits for the third straight day in a row. There's also a risk of severe weather later in the day. It's why today is the WRAL Weather Alert Day again. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Michelle McConaughey.
And I'm Jeff Hogan. Thanks for joining us. Today's heat index could reach 112 degrees. And WRAL's Elizabeth Gardner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center tracking this heat. Also, the possibility of storms later, Elizabeth.
Excessive heat warning, extreme heat warning again for today, very much like yesterday. And already the heat index is at 111 in the Triangle area. And we still have hours to go to see even hotter temperatures developing. And then we have a severe storm threat. It's a level 2 risk, but it looks like that our potential for thunderstorms is fairly isolated today. Take a live look at downtown Raleigh. There are definitely people walking up and down Fayetteville Street. This is a look at our Jimmy V camera. It is very hazy. And there are a few clouds out there, and it's very hot. 97 is our temperature, and our dew point is at 76, and that's why it feels like 111. Here's a look at the temperature on the left with the heat index on the right. It feels like 113 in Clinton, 108 in Fayetteville, 109 in Southern Pines. It feels like 111 in Goldsboro, 115 in South Hill, 109 in Rocky Mount. So there is no place to escape the intense heat, to the excessive heat that we're seeing across our area right now. This is a look at our hour-by-hour heat index. We climbed to triple digits at around 9 o'clock this morning, and we're not likely to see temperatures dropping out of the triple digits until around 9 o'clock. So you're not going to find any relief right after work. You'd have to wait maybe until 10 or 11 o'clock to start to see some cooling temperatures. Here's a look at dual Doppler 5000 radar. When I pulled this up literally 5 minutes before the newscast started, we were clear. And look at this. Just in the last 2 minutes, a little cell has popped up there in the southern part of Franklin County. Once we start to see these cells pop, it means the atmosphere is ready to go. Now, Futurecast doesn't show any of these cells until much later, but sometimes Futurecast trying to figure out where some of these cells are going to pop up and when can be difficult in this sort of pattern. So now that we're starting to see them, we can expect to see more and more of them as we head into the afternoon. It's 20% chance for now, and then a 50% chance later on. So we'll let you know if we do see any severe storms. That level 2 risk means that we have some wind damage. We'll continue to follow WRAL News Plus all afternoon, even after our noon newscast is over.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. From construction crews to mail carriers, the intense heat continues to impact those working outside. The city of Raleigh is now warning of possible trash pickup delays because of these high temperatures. WRAL's Flynn Snyder is live in Boylan Heights. And Flynn, the city urging residents to place their trash bins out as early as they can.
Yeah, Michelle, 6 a.m. on your collection day is when the city is urging residents to have their trash bins out on the curb. Solid waste crews typically start their routes earlier during summer months, but this intense heat could impact trash collection even further. The city says collections may be delayed if it gets too hot. They'll pull workers off the road to keep them safe and cool. This is something we saw last year around July 4th when crews had to cut some routes short, leading to pickup delays in some neighborhoods. Now, if your pickup is delayed, the city is asking that you just keep your can out on the curb until it is serviced. They will not be issuing any fines during this time, and they ask you to use the city's website or reuse app to learn of any potential collection impacts. Live in Raleigh, Flynn Snyder, WRAL News.
The Wake County Sheriff's Office is investigating a shooting that left a man seriously hurt. This is video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. The shooting happened on Hodge Road near Wendell around midnight. The Wake County Sheriff's Office says one man was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. A nearby home was also hit by that gunfire.
Several people are recovering after a head-on crash in Wake County. It happened on Creedmoor Road around 8 o'clock this morning. Look at this video here. According to Highway Patrol, a dump truck hit a car head-on and ended up in a ditch. A third vehicle also swerved into a ditch while trying to avoid that crash. Several people were taken to the hospital with minor injuries.
Today, the State House is scheduled to debate 2 spending bills that include a small raise for teachers and state employees. Meanwhile, negotiations on the overall budget have ground to a halt. WRAL Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie is live outside the House chamber there with what they're proposing. Laura.
Jeff, state lawmakers are looking to leave town at the end of the week and for a summer break, so they're in a hurry to try to get things wrapped up. With no budget agreement in sight, the state will keep operating on last year's budget, but there are always some needs that have to be fixed, like, for example, Medicaid or funding for schools. Both the House and the Senate have unveiled spending proposals, they call them mini budgets, that would address those needs. The House's package includes an average 6.4% raise for teachers this school year and a 2.5% raise for other state employees. It would also cut 20% of vacant state positions and set aside money for additional staff for the state auditor and the state elections board. The Senate spending bill also includes some cuts to state agencies and funding for schools and Medicaid, but it does not include any raises. House leaders have already said they will not agree to the Senate plan. The two chambers also have not reached agreement on spending for Helene relief. The House rejected a Senate proposal for about $700 million more in state spending. They're proposing a smaller sum. Governor Josh Stein is pushing House and Senate leaders to find some kind of a compromise before they leave town for summer break. Negotiations on all of these proposals will be going on behind closed doors all day and probably well into the night here at the legislature. But House Speaker Destin Hall has said they intend to leave town whether they have deals or not. Laura Leslie, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
And a rally at the state capitol today focused on curbing domestic violence. The group wants to pass a law requiring judges to be trained and educated on domestic violence and child abuse. It's called Jesse's Law, named for a little boy who was killed in 2012 by his father. The legislation would keep children out of the care of abusive parents. The bill has already passed the House unanimously.
It shouldn't be a partisan issue. It shouldn't be an issue between the House and the Senate, who sometimes have to negotiate on things. This is just something that we must do for North Carolina, for our families, and especially for our children.
In 2018, urged the state.
And the bill will now go to a Senate committee.
Today, the Wake School Board will debate how generative AI can be used in the classroom. Our team confirmed Wake schools have informally embraced AI and are teaching students how to use it. A policy would establish a consistent set of guidelines for all schools. Those guidelines would be publicly available for students and parents to see. WRAL Education Insider Emily Walkenhorst says it would also set rules designed to ensure students use it responsibly.
The policy would also have some kind of safeguards in place for things like preventing cheating. It says something about how students should cite their use of AI in any of the work that they do. There's not a clear idea of how that would be enforced, how that would be checked.
A draft policy largely stems from a version the North Carolina School Boards Association created. It was sent to school districts for consideration in March last year. You can follow our coverage today and find out more about what's in the policy at the education section of WRAL.com.
Your time is 12:06 here in the WRAL Live Center for some breaking news unfolding right now on US 1. I want to point your attention right here to our camera we found here. One of our assignment desk editors, Jamila, told us about this, but you'll see there are plenty of first responders here. You can see there's at least 3 different fire trucks we have here, and it looks like there is a vehicle right here that's kind of lodged between the 2 support beams of this bridge. It's not quite clear just yet what led up to this, but again, we do know this is on US 1 and on I-540. We're going to try to reach out to investigators to get more specifics because that's a pretty reasonable amount of first responders that are there for this particular case. As soon as we have more information, I'll report it right here on the WRAL Live Center.
All right, thank you, Chris. President Donald Trump has wrapped up today's NATO summit, securing major agreements with other members of the alliance. But as Rebecca Castor reports, the president is still contending with questions about the effectiveness of U.S. strikes on Iranian nuclear sites.
President Donald Trump is on his way home from the NATO summit after scoring a major win. All NATO countries have agreed to a massive hike in defense spending, pledging to invest 5% of their GDPs by 2035.
It's a monumental win for the United States because we were carrying much more than our fair share.
This is something Trump had been urging since his first term, and now the alliance is on board, with Russia still looming as a threat to their security.
We have to make sure that we can defend ourselves, and that is why we are doing this.
Trump also met privately with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, their first sit-down since a heated Oval Office argument in February.
Couldn't have been nicer. I'm going to speak to Vladimir Putin and see if we can get it ended.
But overshadowing all of this was the situation in the Middle East. In a leaked U.S. intelligence report calling into question questioned just how successful the U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear sites were. The report claims Iran's program was only set back a few months, while the president insists it's obliterated.
They presented a report that wasn't finished. We're talking about something that took place 3 days ago.
If you want to make an assessment of what happened at Fordo, you better get a big shovel and go really deep, because Iran's nuclear program is obliterated.
That was Rebecca Castor reporting.
Let's take a look at stocks this noon and see how the markets are reacting to everything going on around the world. Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 72 points after eclipsing the 43,000 mark yesterday, still holding its head above that mark right there. NASDAQ is in positive territory, about up 43 points. S&P 500 relatively unchanged this noon.
Tonight is draft night in the NBA. It's shaping up to be a life-changing night for former Duke star Cooper Flagg. The 18-year-old expected to be taken with the first overall pick, and that belongs to the Dallas Mavericks. Flagg was part of a Final Four run in his only season at Duke. This morning, he sat down with today's Craig Melvin to talk about his thoughts going into tonight's draft.
As we sit here in this moment, what's the one thing that you're most excited about?
I think just, sharing this moment with my family. I think it's a dream come true for all of them and me as well. And then my friends as well. Just going through this moment with them will be very surreal and just such a good feeling.
Do you think you'll be emotional?
I would assume. I know my mom's going to be bawling her eyes out when my name gets called.
I'm sure she will be. Flagg's Blue Devils teammate Con Knipple is also expected to be picked in the top 5.
It's not like it's going to be a big surprise.
Yeah.
It's going number 1, but it's emotional, yeah. Next at noon, lightning on a lake. The number of people now recovering after a South Carolina strike.
Also, intense heat and the chance for storms. How often both happen together? We asked the meteorologist.
Plus, some people don't have the luxury of working in climate-controlled areas. At 12:30, we explore ways to stay safe on the job outside. Former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo conceded the Democratic primary for mayor of New York City. 33-year-old lawmaker Zohran Mamdani appears poised to be the nominee. The primary race will still need to be formally decided by a ranked choice vote. Mamdani took a commanding lead in the vote after polls closed last night and then later declared victory, and Cuomo conceded.
Was not our night. Tonight was Assemblyman Mamdani's night, and he put together a great campaign, and he touched young people and inspired them and moved them and got them to come out and vote.
And it's where the mayor will use their power to reject Donald Trump's fascism, to stop mass ICE agents from deporting our neighbors, and to govern our city as a model for the Democratic Party.
If nominated, Mamdani will face incumbent Mayor Eric Adams in the general election. Adams is running as an independent.
A member of RFK Jr.'s new vaccine committee has withdrawn from the group. Dr. Michael Ross decided to leave the panel during a required review of financial holdings. The group was due to hold its first meeting today. Ross is a Virginia-based OBGYN employed by both a biotech firm focused on AI in the medical field and a private equity group. He was one of 8 vaccine advisors recently appointed by the Health and Human Services Secretary.
20 people are recovering after lightning struck the water at a beach near Lake Murray in South Carolina. It happened right near Columbia, South Carolina. 12 children, 6 adults were taken to a hospital. The remaining victims were treated at the scene. Everyone is expected to be okay. WRAL spoke with a mom who witnessed the terrifying incident.
As soon as I got back to the table and sat down, the biggest thunderclap, lightning, it was just very scary and traumatic. It hit the water, and then
Ford is recalling nearly 133,000 SUVs because of the risk of detaching parts. The recall included Lincoln Aviator models between 2020 and 2025. According to National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the rear door window bars may not have enough adhesive and could fall off. Owners will be notified and can visit dealers for free repairs.
National Transportation Safety Board announced the probable cause of last year's door plug blowout on a Boeing 737. The NTSB is placing the blame on Boeing, its supplier, and the FAA for the incident that left a gaping hole in the side of a plane that was 16,000 feet in the air at the time. The NTSB chairwoman says Boeing and the FAA should have spotted safety deficiencies that led to the accident. A full report will be released in a few weeks. Amazon is expanding same-day and next-day delivery to more than 4,000 small cities and towns. The company plans to invest more than $4 billion to triple the size of its delivery network by 2026. It's the company's latest effort to recognize the growing demand for faster deliveries from rural customers. Amazon says the number of items delivered same or next day has increased more than 30% in the past year.
Families plan to spend the same or more on back-to-school supplies. That's according to a new PwC survey. It found nearly 3/4 of back-to-school shoppers expect to spend the same amount this year. About a third of those surveyed say they will spend more this year.
Young Americans are not reaching into their wallet as much. A report from Wall Street Journal says 18 to 24-year-olds in-store and online spending dropped 13% from January to April over last year. The New York Fed attributes this decline to difficulty finding jobs, rising credit card delinquencies, and student loan repayments restarting. Meanwhile, older generations' spending is still growing, just at a slower pace.
Construction heat. Workers across the Triangle are braving the extreme heat. What NCDOT is doing to keep them safe?
Chris Levinger back here in the WRAL Live Center. We do have a breaking update that we received from investigators with State Highway Patrol. We have more specifics with this. It turns out this is a white work truck, and they're saying it fell off the bridge down below and another vehicle was damaged. I believe it's this one that's right here. Again, this is at US 1 and 540, not too far from Apex. When I asked how did that work truck fall off, they're saying right now they believe it may have hit a culvert. They're trying to verify that, but that seems to be the story right now. In terms of injuries, that's unclear. They're still looking into this. This crash happened around 11:30, and the idea is that this could reopen in full by about 1 o'clock, but you'll see right there on the road southbound lane, the US 1, just nailing through as they're going. But there's at least some progress here after this, again, work truck fell below and hit another car.
Wow, scary.
That is odd right there, huh?
Well, we are learning new information this noon about the people killed in a house fire in Garner. We brought you this story as breaking news yesterday here at noon. Court documents show the Wake County Sheriff's Office responded to a domestic violence call at the home the night before the fire. The call came in at 6:25 Monday night. The 911 call reported the fire came in 15 hours later. Law enforcement confirmed the 3 people killed were 49-year-old Shannon Collins and 2 teenagers.
Today is once again a WRAL weather alert day.
It's the second day in a row with extreme heat warning. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at a chance of storms today as well, Elizabeth.
All this heat is creating a lot of energy in the atmosphere and allowing some of these cells to start to pop up. The first one started right there in the southern part of Franklin County right at noon. And so 30 minutes later, we've more than doubled the number of these cells that are popping up. They just continue to pop up sort of like popcorn. Couple things to note. Generally, they're going to be moving from north to south. However, notice how they continue to develop in the same spot over and over. We call this training. So that means some people are likely to see some really heavy rain out of this, maybe even some isolated flooding. Lots of lightning with these and the potential for some wind damage, but not likely to see hail. And typically storms like this don't produce tornadoes. Look at this. Another one just popped up north and west of Rocky Mount. Notice those dark colors. So that is the very heavy rain. Think about how much moisture moisture there is in the atmosphere right now. So these things are really going to produce some pretty serious downpours. Just east of Henderson, we've had another one develop, and they'll continue. We've got a 20 to 30% chance now, jumping up to maybe 50% later on this afternoon. We do have the extreme heat warning in effect until 8 o'clock tonight, along with that level 2 risk for severe storms. Our temperature is really hot right now. 111 is the heat index in the Triangle, 111 in South Hill, 115 in Clinton. We do have some subtle changes for tomorrow compared to what we're seeing today. I'll show you that coming up.
A lot of folks across our area will be trying to stay inside today to avoid the triple-digit temperatures out there. Construction crews, though, outside, they're facing new challenges thanks to these elements. And WRAL's Laura Levine shows us how workers can stay safe in this heat.
Right now, we're standing on Rock Quarry Road overlooking I-40 here, and we're talking about the people who work hours on end improving these road conditions to make your commute smoother and more convenient. And this week, they're facing dangerous conditions to do so. The Department of Labor says every year, thousands of workers across the country suffer from serious heat-related illnesses. If not quickly addressed, heat exhaustion can become heat stroke, which has killed on average more than 30 workers annually since 2003. The NCDOT tells us they are taking several measures to ensure worker safety.
We move the hardest work and from the hottest part of the day to the earliest part of the day, or the coolest part of the day, whenever that is, and when we can do that. We make sure that our employees wear long sleeves that are loose-fitting cotton. We provide bandanas that are chilled and to help mitigate the heat. We make sure they're taking frequent breaks.
She also says workers are equipped with steel-toed boots so that they can stand on asphalt safely throughout the day. They're also trained on monitoring each other on the signs of heat stress and heat illness. And they're also emphasizing to the public right now, as they do each and every day, to be mindful of the work zones, but especially on a day like today. Laura Levine, WRAL News in Raleigh.
A new WRAL documentary investigates the alarming trend of cancer happening more often in young people. Diagnosis Young, the new face of cancer in NC, explores who this is happening to and why. The WRAL doc team interviewed patients in remission and those fighting cancer right now. They also interviewed doctors and researchers about possible causes from environmental exposures to ultra-processed foods.
And you have to believe that there's an environmental influence.
So you really think food is a big one?
It's hard to ignore.
Doctors explain the research happening in North Carolina to uncover answers. Diagnosis Young, the new face of cancer in North Carolina, premieres tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. on WRAL, WRAL streaming platforms, and WRAL's YouTube channel.
People in western North Carolina are hoping to get a boost in tourism from a $750,000 grant. The grant is from Dogwood Health Trust. It was awarded to the Blue Ridge Rising Initiative. The action plan was actually developed before Hurricane Helene, but the development strategies are even more crucial now after it. The money will support programs in 11 counties affected by Helene.
While relief may be on the way, many towns in western North Carolina are still struggling after Helene. Some grocery stores have yet to open, forcing people to travel to other cities just to get food. Justin Berger talked with residents as frustration builds.
This is Spruce Pines Ingalls days after Helene. The parking lot covered in a thick coat of mud. Nearly 9 months later, a fence surrounds the parking lot. Weeds grow in between the unkept pavement.
Our question was, are you opening? When will you open? Any timeline, anything you can share would be appreciated.
That was in March.
Their response to us was, yes, we are reopening, we are rebuilding. We can't say when. That's our response.
A similar statement issued by Chief Financial Officer Pat Jackson Monday regarding their Swannanoa location. Ingalls is, quote, working with architects and contractors on plans for the Swannanoa store. We do not have the finalized plans or a start date at this time. So right now it's just Walmart?
Correct. Mitchell County would be what they would refer to as a food desert.
One grocery store for an entire county of people. Morgan Buchanan is Spruce Pine born and raised.
I was a frequent Ingalls shopper, yes. That it was closer to my home and to my workplace. It was something I could just run over really quick.
Not anymore.
For a Monday evening, this is a little bit crazy.
So, and tomorrow you're going where?
I will probably either run to Marion or Burnsville for a produce run and to pick up a few things that they didn't have in stock this evening.
Burnsville has been, by their accounts, overwhelmed at times. Then Marion is the second option.
Steins shared he received a similar email from Jackson more recently. A May SEC filing states Ingalls plans to reopen all 3 closed locations sometime in 2025 or 2026.
We are working to learn more about the first measles case of the year here in North Carolina. According to the State Department of Health and Human Services, the infected person was a child who was visiting Forsyth and Guilford counties from overseas. NCDHHS says the child visited several places between June 19th and the 21st, including the Greensboro Airport, the Science Center, and a McDonald's. Doctors ask people in these locations to monitor their symptoms. They can show up anywhere from 7 to 21 days after exposure. Their greatest concern lies in the people who either can't or have not gotten vaccinated.
Vaccination is the most effective way to avoid contracting measles. So that's the takeaway here.
And measles symptoms include a cough, runny nose, high fever, and a full body rash. We have the full list of places people may have been exposed to measles on our website, WRAL.com.
A new study from the medical journal shows a slowdown in efforts to get children vaccinated. According to that study, routine vaccination maybe hotter than the temperature outside is the air inside your car. When left outside in 90 or 100-degree heat, the temperature of a car will rise by nearly 20 degrees within 10 minutes. Before you head out for your commute, Keely Arthur shows you how to cool off your car quickly.
It is hot out here, but if your car was outside overnight, odds are it's way hotter inside. For the sake of our experiment, it's about 96 degrees outside, but this thermometer sitting in here for about 10 minutes shows it's 118 degrees inside. First thing I want you to do to cool your car down, turn it on. Then start driving. Now, this is better than remote start because the faster your engine turns, the faster your AC compressor will run. Then roll your windows down, all 4 of them. On the road, turn your air conditioner on and keep your windows down for 10 to 20 seconds. Crank the fan. Once cold air starts coming through your vents, roll your front windows up, but keep the back ones open for 20 more seconds. This will pull the cold air to the back of the car. Then roll all your windows up, adjust the AC to its lowest setting. Okay, so after 2 minutes of driving, it's now at 97 degrees. Not a whole lot better, but certainly a little bit more manageable. Keely Arthur, 5 on your side.
And due to the prolonged heat wave, Wake County is extending cooling stations to help residents stay cool. The county's temporary cooling stations will remain open through next Monday. Residents can find relief at Wake County Public Libraries, as well as regional centers and health and human service centers as well. We have a list of dates and hours on our website. Just search cooling stations. And these are so important because really you can't take much outside. I mean, you're out there for 5 minutes and you're like, I need AC.
Right. It is. And you're getting the 1-2 punch today because some of these storms that are popping up around here. It could get worse later. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. We're seeing them now, though.
Boy, we're really seeing some changes over the last 45 minutes or so. Right here in the southern part of Franklin County, we saw the first little cell developing. It continues to redevelop in that same spot. There are definitely going to be some places today where we have some isolated flooding where the rain just keeps coming down in the same spot very heavily. There are also going to be plenty of places don't see any rain at all today. Right now, it's developing almost in a line from Mecklenburg County, Virginia, right back down toward Goldsboro, right here in our eastern county. So we'll do a little zoom around. We'll zoom in here south of Lewisburg. We've had that cell going on for about 45 minutes now. And then it continues to see the showers and thunderstorms sort of developing south of that as well, just east of Wendell, over here around Clayton and Wilson's Mills there in parts of Johnston County. And then over here, there just north and west of Rocky Mount. That one's got a lot of lightning with it, and just another one popped up around Elm City. We'll head up to the north, and you can see that cell continuing to develop east of Clarksville near Boydton and east of Henderson. We have that line and some redevelopment there as well. So this is going to be pretty active for us for the rest of the day. But again, these are pop-up cells. There's not a lot of wind. There's not really going to be a whole lot to move it around. As we continue into the afternoon and evening, we may see even more of this developing. It's popping up a little faster than Futurecast is showing. So we're going to have a pretty long afternoon of these little pop-up cells. We do have a level 2 risk back over towards Charlotte right here. This is a level 3 risk. They just updated that about 10 minutes ago. That does not include our viewing area. A level 2 risk means that we'll have some cells that pop up that have the potential to produce some wind damage. They'll be scattered to isolated. And then it's a level 1 risk on Thursday and again on Friday. And that means, again, that potential for severe storms is minimal to marginal, not seeing a whole lot of it. 50% chance of storms today and a 30% chance on Thursday, 20 on Friday. Still couldn't rule it out Saturday and Sunday as well. We'll continue to follow these thunderstorms. We don't have any severe storms at this very moment, but as they move through, be sure to tune on WRAL News Plus all afternoon. We'll be following this live. This is a look at the list of what's happening the next couple of days. Extreme heat warning today, that level 2 risk of severe storms. Tomorrow, it goes down 1 notch to a heat advisory and 1 notch to a level 1 risk. But we have basically the same story, maybe just a little bit less extreme. It feels like one.
As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we are following today. The State House is scheduled to debate 2 spending bills today. The House's package includes an average 6.4% raise for teachers this school year and 2.5% for other state employees. The Senate spending bill also includes some cuts to state agencies and funding for schools and Medicaid, but it does not include any raises. House leaders have already said they will not agree to the Senate plan.
Wake County School Board will discuss how AI can be used in the classroom. Our team confirmed Wake schools have informally embraced AI and are teaching students how to use it now. A policy would establish a consistent set of guidelines for schools. The board is set to meet in just a few minutes, 1 o'clock today.
And we have another day of intense heat and also a chance for storms. That's why we have another WRAL weather alert day. Remember, if you're spending time outside, stay hydrated, try to get into any shade you can find, and limit your time in the heat. You can stay on top of the forecast with the newly redesigned WRAL weather app.
A SpaceX rocket carrying 4 astronauts is on its way to the International Space Station.
1, ignition, and lift.
The Axiom mission took off at about 2:30 this morning from Florida. The private mission includes former NASA astronaut Peggy Whitson. She's joined by astronauts from India, Poland, and Hungary, and they'll be the first people from their nations to visit the space station. The group is expected to be in space for about 2 weeks. A pair of bears are back in their enclosure after escaping.
Yeah, the European cubs named Mish and Lucy escaped from a United Kingdom park on Monday. Workers there initiated an emergency protocol once they realized the siblings escaped. Security footage caught the duo helping themselves to some food nearby. The cubs, once discovered, were found to have feasted on a week's worth of honey during their runaway adventure. Well, a bear and a gorilla beat the heat at a Chicago zoo.
Yeah, the zoo provided crushed ice for Birch the black bear and provided a hanging popsicle for Umandi, who's a western lowland gorilla. The zoo says each animal with an outdoor habitat has the choice to be outdoors or indoors, and they have cooling features. They have streams, shade, and rocks with air conditioning. They have slushies, too.
Look at them. They're chilling, hanging out. Well, that brings us to today's pet of the day. Meet Matsoa, which means wolf in Navajo. He is 2 years old, cat. He loves snuggling and is shy. He also has a sister who is looking for a home as well. They are neutered, microchipped, and fully up to date on vaccines. If you're ready to meet them, fill out an application on the Cat Angels website.
NBC News Daily is up next on WRAL, your next local news update in 30 minutes.
And you can get breaking news anytime on our WRAL News app. Have a great day.